The second step in implementing DI successfully is to determine the scope of the implementation. Schools can implement direct instruction school-wide or for select groups of students. After placement testing is completed, review the individual score sheets to determine students' skill levels and assess their instructional needs. Direct instruction is appropriate for students of all skill levels and is especially effective with children at risk of failure. So if more than a third of all students place one level or more below their grade level, consider implementing DI school-wide. A school-wide implementation has several advantages. First, DI can accommodate learners of all skill levels, as students are placed at their instructional level and taught at their mastery learning rate. High-performing students are simply placed higher in the instructional sequence and taught at a faster rate. The DI programs incorporate higher-order thinking skills that meet the needs of advanced students. Second, a school-wide implementation of DI does not force students to choose between competing strategies. If students receive instruction in both DI and another program, they may be exposed to two different strategies, which is especially difficult for at-risk children. For reading, students won't be prompted to decode a word by both looking at context clues, a non-DI approach, and looking at the word itself, a DI approach, if DI is implemented school-wide. Third, teachers will only need to learn a single instructional approach if DI is implemented school-wide. This means that they won't have to become familiar with two different programs, prepare to deliver two different instructional approaches, or administer two different sets of assessments. And administrators won't need to monitor and provide support for two different programs or develop a system for determining when each program should be used, for how long, and with which students. Whether direct instruction is implemented school-wide or for select groups of students, reading and language should be the focus during the first year of implementation, with DI mathematics introduced the second year. Focusing just on reading and language the first year ensures that teachers don't get overwhelmed by the demands of several new programs. Learning the DI methodology and teaching DI to students for the first time can be tiring.
Good job. Get ready. Times. Yes, what word? Get ready. Times.
It helps teachers master the program and gain confidence in delivering the program if they can just focus on reading and language the first year of implementation. Reading Mastery is the literacy program of choice for primary grade students. Reading Mastery Signature Edition comes in two tracks, a reading track and a language track, and primary grade students receive instruction separately in each track. Upper grade elementary students receive instruction in Reading Mastery if they perform at or above grade level, or in corrective reading if they perform below grade level. Like Reading Mastery, corrective reading comes in two tracks, a decoding track and a comprehension track. Middle school and high school students who place into the program should receive instruction separately in each track, while upper grade elementary students should receive instruction in the decoding track as well as the language track of Reading Mastery.
We have found that implementing DI school-wide simplifies the responsibilities of teachers and support staff and makes their efforts much more effective. Teachers don't need to prepare lesson plans for a second set of lessons, and they don't need to follow decision rules about when to put which child into which program. Sometimes these decision rules can be quite extensive. Just last year we talked with a principal of an elementary school in Pennsylvania who had 9 different interventions for students performing below grade level. This required a tremendous amount of work on her part to track students as they went back and forth between the different programs. And the results were not good because it was disruptive to the children to be bounced between different instructional approaches. A school-wide implementation of DI is much more effective for students because of the instructional consistency and because all the interventions can be done within the DI programs. There are provisions for repeating lessons, reviewing material, and providing extra time in the program to students who are struggling. So a school-wide implementation of DI can save teachers and staff a lot of headaches at the same time that it provides superior instruction to students and at a lower overall cost too, because you're implementing one program. If your school is not ready for a school-wide implementation of DI, there are several other options, including an early literacy implementation and a remedial literacy implementation. In the long run, it is best to start at the earliest grade level, because if you just have a remedial implementation at the upper elementary grades, the middle school, or the high school, then the students coming up from the lower grades will still be performing below grade level, and you will be forced to continue the remedial implementation. But if the DI implementation starts at the earliest grade levels, the students coming up from the lower grades will have the skills to be successful, and you won't need to continue the remedial implementation on a large scale in the long run.